My name is Elena, and I want to tell you my story. I live in a quiet coastal town called Silver Cove, not too far from Boston. It's peaceful here, soft waves, small cafes, and streets that feel almost frozen in time. I'm 29 years old, and I work as a receptionist at a small seaside hotel. My life was simple, some would say boring, but I liked it. I had a few close friends, a small apartment, and a routine that felt safe. I wasn't looking for love. After a few painful relationships, I told myself it was better to stay alone. But sometimes life brings someone into your world when you least expect it. That person was Daniel. Daniel came to the hotel on a business trip. He wasn't like the usual guests. He was calm, polite, a little tired, like life had already taken something from him. He had kind eyes, a soft smile, and a quiet voice. When I checked him in, he thanked me in a way that felt genuine. The next morning, he came to the lobby and asked for directions around town. I told him where to find the best coffee, the quietest part of the beach, and a small seafood place locals loved. He listened, really listened, and I liked that. Soon we started talking more. He stayed for 2 weeks. Every evening after work, he would come to the lobby. Sometimes we walked along the shore. Sometimes we sat near the lighthouse. We talked about life, dreams, music, everything. With him, I felt seen. One night, under a sky full of stars, he looked at me and said, "Being with you feels like peace." And that's when everything changed, I think. That's when I started falling for him. After he left, we stayed in touch, messages every day, calls every night. A month later, he came back. This time, he rented a small house near the harbor. We cooked together, danced in the kitchen, laughed like we had known each other forever. I felt happy. Until one evening, everything broke. We were sitting quietly when he said, "Elena, I need to tell you something." My heart started racing. I'm Mary, he said softly. I have 2 children. In that moment, everything inside me froze. I couldn't speak. I walked outside into the cold air, hearing nothing but the sound of waves. I felt like my world had just shattered. He followed me and said, "I understand if you don't want to see me again." And I left. That night, I didn't sleep. I was angry, confused, broken. But I also missed him. And that was the hardest part. A week later, I saw him again. I told him I felt hurt, that I didn't like being hidden. He didn't defend himself. He just said, "I care about you." And somehow, I stayed. I knew it was wrong. I knew I was becoming something I never wanted to be. But I wanted to believe him. I want to believe one day he would choose me. So we continued in secret. He visited once or twice a month. We lived in small moments, quiet nights, hidden love, no public walks, no pictures, no future plans, just us. In silence, he made me feel special, but deep inside, I knew the truth. I was not his real life, and slowly, I started losing myself. I stopped seeing friends, stopped doing the things I loved. My world became smaller, just him, and waiting. One night I asked myself, is this love, or am I just lost? And for the first time, I didn't have an answer. Eventually, I realized something. I deserved more. One evening, I told him, "I can't live like this anymore. I need a real life, a real love." He looked at me and said quietly, "I can't leave my family." And that's when I knew this was the end, so I let him go. That night, I cried, but it felt different. It felt clean, like finally letting go of something that was breaking me. The next morning, I stood by the ocean for the first time in months. I felt calm. Months passed, I slowly found myself again. I went back to my friends, my routines, my dreams, and I started writing just for myself. And one day, I met someone new. His name was Lucas. He was kind, patient, and real. He didn't hide me. He didn't make me wait. He simply stood beside me, and through him, I learned something important. Real love doesn't live in the shadows. It lives in the light. Today, if someone asked me, like, was it worth it? I say yes, because through all that pain, I found myself again, and this time, I chose me.